Hey, folks. Um, I want to talk to you about not so much like a broad state issue here as a specific race this morning. A number of you, particularly group leaders and members of groups down anywhere in the vicinity of Hershey, will remember that sometime back, our good friend Representative Mehaffey or whatever the heck his name is, down in Hershey, decided to be the one Republican who would side with the Dems and prevent the Republicans from bringing the House and the legislature back to work. All of this happened in the wake of Lion Brian Cutler's crossing over, turning traitor, siding with the Dems, bringing in the Democratic speaker. You guys remember that betrayal. And then after that, the Republicans wanted to force the convening of the legislature because the first thing that the new Democratic speaker did, that Mr. Cutler foisted on us, was lock everybody out and shut down your legislature so that they wouldn't actually do the people's business, although of course they continued to get paid. And Representative Mehaffey, the alleged Republican from Hershey, was the guy who blocked and Republican legislators using a particular rule of procedure, which I won't get lost in. Now, they intended to show up as the majority on House floor and using a rule of parliamentary procedure force the speaker to convene the legislature and put it back to work. And our man Mehaffey decided to go with the Dems and keep the legislature locked out. So this one alleged Republican sided with the Democratic Party, locked out the legislature, and prevented it from doing the people's business until such time as the Democrats had a majority. So that's about the biggest betrayal you could think of. We went down, a number of us went down, groups down anywhere in the vicinity of Hershey showed up at Mehaffey's office to protest peacefully and orderly and let him know exactly what we thought about this garbage. I drove down from where I am up north of Scranton to be present with them. And when we arrived, my man Mehaffey or whatever the heck had whistled up the Teamsters. So an alleged Republican legislator, confronted by the horror of perhaps having to answer questions from conservatives and Republicans and members of patriot groups, called the local union, and they put about 50 young guys, a handful of gals, mostly young guys, out on the street who did their best then to try to intimidate the patriots who had showed up. Now, let's keep in mind that there was no violence, there was no threat of violence, nothing was disorderly. 60% minimum of the people that showed up on our side were middle-aged women, moms, grandmothers, wives, who were then subjected to verbal abuse, vulgar comments, and all of that kind of garbage. So that's how this guy decided that he was going to respond to people protesting him being a traitor. I had some interesting interactions that day. In any event, I will say that the ladies stayed strong, and it was the Teamsters who left first. I assume because they were getting paid by the union for only X number of hours of counter protesting, and once they went off the clock, they all walked away. Along the way, this is a really, really, really nice touch. Our man Mehaffey sent pizza out, had his office pay for and deliver pizza to the Teamsters standing out on the sidewalk, because we wouldn't want those boys to get hungry while they're yelling obscene things at somebody's wife. You can work up an appetite that way. So, needless to say, this guy who is the ultimate Republican in name only, a absolute turncoat, a actually a very liberal Democrat who some consultant told run as a Republican because it'll get you an extra point in your district. This guy obviously has had a special place in our heart ever since because he needs to go. So here's the good news. I think the expression is payback is a bitch. There is a very promising guy named Bobby Jeffries now challenging Mehefi in the primary. A guy who's calling him out on the issues, very squared away. I've talked to him personally. This guy is the real deal, not a lunatic. He didn't just come up with this idea in 5 minutes. He's been focused on these issues, working these issues for a considerable period of time, and he is from Hershey. He's a rock solid guy running a family business right there on the ground. This guy, Bobby Jeffries, needs your help right now because he's needs to make sure he gets enough signatures that even after all the usual garbage challenges and all of that stuff, that he actually gets on the ballot so we can toss this, we can toss Pizza Boy Mehefi out on his ear. So I am encouraging all of you, please contact the campaign. If you're anywhere remotely near, you're within an hour or two of Hershey, break free some time, lash up with these guys, get up there, let's get the requisite number of signatures. They've got a bunch, but we all know how that goes, right? There are challenges to this. There are all kinds of procedural issues. Let's make sure Bobby Jeffries is on this ballot, and let's send Pizza Boy packing. So his name is Bobby, Bobby Jeffries, Jeffries. Jeffries, running for state rep, Bobby Jeffries. His website is bobbyjeffries.org, spelled exactly the same way, BOBYJEFFRIES.org, BOBYJEFFRIES.org. I'm looking at it right now on my phone. I've reviewed all of this. Very squared away. Very, very easy to get on here and reach out to the campaign and tell them you want to help and volunteer. Very well done website. He's got some real pros involved. Some folks I think that have worked for Roger Stone before helped him get this nailed down. For all of you that are group leaders and have my contact information, I've got Bobby's direct cell phone number. If you want to just reach out to me, and I'll give you that cell phone number so you can just call him directly, that's fine. I specifically discussed that with him just a few moments ago. He's cool with that. I don't want to give out that cell phone number to the world, but group leaders want to reach out to me directly. You got my contact information. I will share his cell phone information. You can just call straight to the candidate and get plugged in. This is unfinished business for us people. This is the incumbent here is a guy that spit in our faces, sat inside smug in his office, while a bunch of really rude, uncouth gentlemen, in air quotes, stood outside yelling obscenities and trying to intimidate patriots. This guy calls himself a Republican, and his response was to call in the Teamsters to intimidate people. He failed. Nobody was intimidated. Nobody ran away. And we held our ground. But we don't forget. Okay? Pizza Boy needs to go. He can get the hell out. Go buy pizza for the Teamsters somewhere else. So please, bobbyjeffries.org. Group leaders, reach out directly to me. Let's get some manpower into Hershey. Make sure we get this young man on the ballot. and let's send Pizza Boy packing. Thank you very much.